previous video, I illustrated how to cheese Radagon with a glitch, and now that the glitch has been patched as of 1.04.1, I want to provide a strategy for how to beat the final bosses legitimately. I've made 4 builds so far in Elden Ring, trying out different playstyles, and I have to say that my favorite is the Lightning Faith build. This build comes in pretty handy for the final boss, as Elden Beast ends up so far away from you for half the fight that the long-range Lightning Bolt Ashes of War on the Bolt of Grandsax helps close the distance. For weapons, I'm rocking Bolt of Grandsax plus 10, as the Ashes of War on this has one of the furthest ranges of any spell in the game. In our offhand, we've got the Gravelstone Seal plus 25, as the seal helps boost dragon incantations, which lightning is one of. Both weapons are obtained in Langdell before it becomes the capital of Ash, so grab them before you go and fight Malekith. For talismans, I've got Radagon's Sword Seal, which boosts several attributes and can be found in Fort Farith. The Lightning Scorpion Charm, which boosts lightning damage by 12% and can be found in Winden Catacombs. Next up is the Ritual Sword Talisman, which increases attack power by 10% when HP is full. It can be found in Lux Ruins. Lastly, another talisman to boost attributes, the Erdtree's Favor plus 2, which can be found in the Ashen Capital as approached from the Forbidden Lands. For a Physick Tear, I'm using the Lightning-Shrouding Crack Tear, which boosts lightning attacks by 20% for 3 minutes. It can be found in northeastern Liurnia at the Minor Erdtree. Stats-wise, you really want to have 80 faith to get the most of your incantations. Most seals, like the Gravelstone Seal, will have S-scaling in faith, and 45 or more into dex, as the Bolt of Grandsax has C-scaling to give those lightning bolts some added oomph. Don't worry about my level if it's way beyond where you're at currently, just focus on those 2 attributes above all else from a DPS standpoint. Finally, for incantations, I'm using Pest Threads, which deals a ton of physical damage up close. This is the best spell to use against the Elden Beast at close range, as the beast is basically resistant to everything but physical damage. The incantation is sold by Gowry, who can be found at Gowry's Shack. For a buff, Golden Vow to dish out an additional 15% damage, an absolute staple for any faith build, which can be found at the Corpse Stench Shack. Next up is a Frenzied Flame spell, Howl of Shabriri, which boosts damage 25% for 20 seconds. It can be found at the Frenzy Flame Tower. For a healing spell, I do recommend using Erdtree Heal to heal your summons throughout the fight, and also because it's a good way to get your HP back to full if you're out of flask. It can be found in the Queen's Bedchamber in the capital of Ash. And lastly, Scarlet Aeonia, assuming you've beaten Melania before this fight. I'm sure any Dragon Rot spell would work almost as well here, but this one is guaranteed to proc Rot on Radagon in one shot, so it's highly recommended here to help tip the scales in your favor during the first phase. My approach with Radagon is to buff myself with Golden Vow before entering the boss room, as it'll leave me just enough FP to summon Dung Eater, which in my opinion is one of the best summons in the game. Immediately evoke your summons as soon as the fight starts and replenish FP with a flask. We now want to wait for the summons to aggro Radagon, and then proc him with Scarlet Rot using Scarlet Aeonia. If we're lucky, we'll get enough iframes towards the end of the incantation to avoid being hit as well. A direct hit from the blast is obviously preferred, but as long as he's within range of the Rot AoE, the Rot will proc. Once Radagon is rotting away, use Howl of Shabriri to gain an additional damage buff. It doesn't matter if you're interrupted, like in this case, the buff will still apply. From this point, just keep blasting with lightning bolts from a distance. You only need 5 or 6 good hits before the fight is over, and an aggressive summons will be more than likely to keep his attention away from you. As soon as Radagon falls, run immediately towards your summons to heal both yourself and them with the Erdtree Heal. There should be just enough time to get one heal in before the start of the second phase. As soon as the fight starts, run behind the Elden Beast, as it will always blast you with fire for the first attack. Restore your FP with a flask and then spam Pest Threads to take out about half of its total HP. The strategy here is simple. At close range, use Pest Threads to melt the beast's HP, and when at range, use the Bolt of Grandsax. It'll also be a good idea to keep buffing your damage with Howl of Shabriri and Golden Vow, as it'll take some time to get close enough for the lightning to even reach the beast, so you better make sure each strike is packing a punch or you're just wasting FP. Whenever the beast is a good distance away also makes for a great time to heal your summons, as the longer your summon survives, the more likely you'll be able to get close enough to deal more damage with Pest Threads. Eventually, you'll get such an opportunity as the beast moves in towards you, so just do your best to dodge any attacks and stay close, spamming Pest Threads until the god is slain. That's really all there is to it. Nuke Radagon with Scarlet Rot and half a dozen lightning bolts, and then for the beast, spam Pest Threads up close and use lightning from range. It'll take a little practice juggling your incantations, but as long as you do your best to minimize any mistakes, you should be fine. If this video helped you out, then be sure to do the things the algorithm likes, and also be sure to check out my other Elden Ring content as well. Any support from you is massively appreciated, and really goes a long way. Thanks again for watching.
Take it easy.